Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tyler Sparks, your host. We're going to talk about the television. I want you to think for a second about when you first watched television. Today, you think of everyone having a television. But oh no, not back then. Let's take you. You're listening to WJS 91.5 The Eagle. Welcome to Media in the Making, a podcast where we're looking at the evolution of media from 1600 all the way to present day. In this podcast series, we ask, how have different forms of media evolved and changed culture? Media in the Making, where media and culture are always changing. Now, let's take a step back in time. TV, the topic we have all heard of so. Where did it begin? The TV began in January 1926 at 22 5th Street in Soho. There was a bunch of people there looking and admiring the first demonstration, but the price was so high people back then had to be wealthy to afford it. Back then TV had no color, so it was just black and white. But it did not just stop then. Let's jump to 1939. Why 1939, you ask? In 1939, inventor Peter Carl made a TV with color. Yeah, that's pretty amazing, I know. Later in that year, they started making live videos in November of 1939. Now let me ask you this. How many of you watch sports? You know, your Sunday night football, hanging out with the family, or going to your football games at school, or being able to see your highlights if you play football. Let me tell you. Back in 1941, they came out with the first sports commercial.
America runs on Bulliver time.
Now, let's get to the very first TV show that people could watch. I bet we could all relate to watching TV shows as a kid or as an adult, or finding this really good show and you just have to binge watch it. Well, back in 1949, they came with the first show, Police Patrol. This show was already a thing, but not on television. This show aired on the radio, which to me personally, and you, it would be super weird for us nowadays to listen to our favorite shows. So in 1949, they came out with the show on television. This show was about a cop chase through Phoenix Bridge, then it went into Texas where there was a loose bowl that's gotten loose, and the cops had to deal with it. This show exploded and became pretty popular. Now, why bring this up, you might wonder? Well, have you ever heard of stereotypes? Stereotypes are a specific group of people that do something. Example, bikers back in the day. They all wore leather jackets. That was a stereotype. When we talk about TV, though, we're talking about sitting inside all day watching TV. Like I talked about earlier, binge watching, which is a huge thing nowadays. A new TV show comes out, or a new season, and you just have to watch it, because you need to know what happens next. Everyone has been there. Personally, I think it has brought some laziness into the factor, but also your entertainment. But binge watching isn't always bad. Some people love watching the news. The first news commercial was in 1940 by a guy named Lewis Thomas. People loved watching the news. Most of your parents, or you, watch the news to see what's happening around the world. People back then thought the same exact thing. They thought that it was very interesting that they could be able to see what's happening in other parts of the world. Now, the last thing that I like to talk about is what has TV brought to us, other than the news. Back then, it probably wasn't used that much, but now, today in schools, TVs are everywhere. You see them all over the halls, you see them in classrooms, everywhere. Why, you might ask? TV has brought us so much knowledge, things we never even knew. Now for me, personally, we used to watch TV clips of a guy named Bill Nye the Science Guy. So what has TV brought to us? It's brought knowledge, and stereotypes, and government voting on presidents by being more informed, and it just progressed the country and made America where it is today. Media in the Making is brought to you by WJHS 91.5 and the Eagle Tech Academy media classes. Media in the Making, teaching you about the evolution of media throughout history and its effects on culture. For more from the students, more podcasting series are on the 91.5 website, WJS5.org.